All right, so do I need a license to sell food from my home in Alabama? And can you sell food from your house in Alabama? These are two great questions for cottage food entrepreneurs. If you're looking to start a home-based food business and you live in Alabama, we are going to cover some do's and don'ts and how you can get started selling food from your home in Alabama right now. All right, so welcome back to my brand new channel, Cottage Foods Laws. We are all about cottage food businesses, the home-based idea of starting a food business from scratch from your home. This channel is all dedicated to the cottage food operator in the state of Alabama. This video is going to be all about that. So let's dive right into it. So number one, right off the bat, do you need a license to sell food from your home in Alabama? Specifically a license, not necessarily, no. But there are a few legalities and things that you need to know about, and also how much you can sell, where you can sell your cottage foods, and all of that. So let's dive into these specifics. So the first thing we want to do is let's dive into where can you sell your homemade food products in Alabama. Under their cottage food law, they allow you to sell online, but you have to have a delivery in person. You have to deliver it to the customer. You can't ship it over state lines. That's something that's not allowed. You can also go to farmers markets, roadside stands. You can even sell it from your home. If you're wanting to sell it from your home, definitely check out the videos down in the description. There is a website, castiron.com, .me. This is a website that allows you to actually create a presence online and even set up features such as delivery or even pickup from your home. And it's definitely something you need to look into. So check them out down below as well. What kind of services are allowed as far as selling, Damien? Well, like I mentioned, you can do delivery. If you're okay with that and you can take your product and deliver it locally within a certain 5-6 mile radius, that's perfectly fine. If you want to allow for home pickup, if you're okay with that, you can have your customers come directly to your home. And again, as I mentioned, online is allowed, but it is a little restrictive in the idea that you still have to deliver it, okay? Now, prohibited places. Now, where can I not sell my cottage food laws, specifically in the state of Alabama? Restaurants and retail stores, of course, are not allowed. Why? Because restaurants are not allowed to take a product from you, turn around and resell it and sell it to their customers. It has to be delivered directly to the customer, and you have to do it yourself. Also, you can't do it catering and wholesaling under the cottage food laws from your home. Wholesaling meaning that you can't sell it in bulk. If you create a food product within your kitchen, you can't do that. If you're catering, that is a totally different type of business and would require pretty much a commercial kitchen and totally different licensing and inspections. So that has nothing to do with cottage foods. So you're not technically allowed to do that. Next up, what kind of foods can I sell under cottage food law in Alabama? Now, this is a pretty broad list. I'm going to run through it, but again, down below in the descriptions, I'll have some links to the specific state websites, so that'll help you get even more information, okay? But things like cookies, of course, tortillas, bagels, biscuits, cupcakes, muffins, scones, breads, cakes, and donuts. These types of things are allowed. Keep in mind, what's normally not allowed in any cottage food state law is anything that's potentially hazardous, as it's known. These are items that are time and temperature sensitive. So when you're asking yourself, what can I sell under cottage food law in Alabama? It cannot be an item that has to be kept at a certain temperature because it could spoil, or have a time window when it could spoil. It has to be something that is not of those two, okay? So what types of candies or other items can I make? So you could do chocolates, you could do truffles, cotton candies, fudge even, honey, nut butter, salsas, sauces, ketchups, mustards, pickles. Keep in mind some of the acidic foods, if it has too much acids, you have to get it verified and checked specifically with the state on that. As far as the Alabama Cooperative Extension, you need to double check on that. Also pastries, preserves, even snacks, things like candied apples, caramel corn, marshmallows, kettle corn, granola, popcorn, vegetable chips, etc. These are actually items that you can do as well. Just keep in mind that limitation cannot be a perishable, time or temperature sensitive product, okay? Now, there is a list of specific prohibited foods, things like meat jerkies, low acid canned foods, juices, and perishable baked goods. Now that would be something like, let's say if it was topped with a cream cheese or a cottage cheese or something to the effect like a Danish that has it on top as a certain cheese item. That is something that cannot be obviously put out on the table at a farmer's market for several hours. That's a time or temperature sensitive item. So things of that sort would not be allowed under cottage food law in Alabama. Now, here's the great news. When you start your business from your kitchen at home, you're probably wondering how much can I actually sell every year? What is the limitation on the amount? Alabama is one of the few states that has no sales limit. That's pretty impressive, because if you end up turning it into a six-figure business from your kitchen, you can turn it into a six-figure business from your kitchen. That's pretty amazing. A lot of states limited. Some of them have extreme limitations, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year, which is not really a lot of money. Alabama has no limit. Okay. Now, there are a few other things to keep in mind. When you're working from your kitchen, you can't use commercial equipment. Okay. That would be like a big bread mixer. That would be any type of equipment that would be a large commercial styled equipment is definitely not allowed. You have to just do it like with a small KitchenAid, small appliances, things that you would normally find in your home kitchen. Okay. Now, also direct sales only. Keep that in mind, as I mentioned before. You cannot do any sales where there's someone between you and your customer. If that's even a delivery service like Uber or something, a lot of people ask that all the time on my other channel, can I use Uber or delivery service from my home? You have to deliver it in person, okay? Now also keep in mind too that you need to tap into your primary residency. So that means you can only do this from your house. If you are operating your cottage food business in Alabama from a friend's house or someone else's house or even a commercial kitchen, that's not technically allowed, okay? So keep that in mind as far as where you can actually operate this business. Now, let's check into legalities. The one thing that you do need to do is you need to take a food safety course. So you must take a food safety course, something similar like Learn to Serve, food handler training course is something that you can do. Another option is to take a ACES course, which is specifically tailored for cottage food producers in Alabama. That's like about $20, I think, or $30, $20 and $30. Now, the other thing is you have to have a business review. So the application and fees vary by each county, specifically in the state of Alabama, but proof of your completed safety course and then a sample label. You need to put a label together of your product, a list of the products you intend to sell. So if you have more than one item, that's fine, but you need to put a list together as well, and it has to be approved by the health department, okay? So there's really technically no business licensing and such. There's a few things you need to keep in mind though. Zoning. If you're in a homeowners association, if you have a neighborhood that has a homeowners association, HOA, you need to make sure you ask them if it's okay, if it's legal within those bylaws that you're allowed to do this, because you could get in trouble with the homeowners association if you're not allowed to do this, okay? I also recommend that you incorporate yourself, create an LLC, protect yourself and the assets of your home and everything else you have, because cottage food law, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're protected without having some type of LLC or even a business food policy insurance. So if you're operating from home, did you know that you can actually get a food business insurance policy? Okay, there's a lot of these resources to be down below the video. Check those resources out on our website, okay? So that is something you need to be aware of. Now also, let's get into labeling. So how do you label cottage foods for Alabama, in the state of Alabama? Number one, you gotta have the business address. Technically, that would be obviously your home. The business name, if it's sarahstruffles.com or Sarah's Truffles, you need to make sure that the business name is on the label. Ingredients, make sure your ingredients of the product are on there. Some people may have allergies to certain ingredients. You need to be aware of that. So make sure you have an ingredient statement on there. The product name needs to be on there as well. So if it's, Sarah's mint chocolate truffles, well then you need to make sure that it says mint chocolate truffles, okay? Lastly, one thing you need to put on there is a statement. It's kind of a disclosure, okay? And normally this would be something that, let's say, quote unquote, this product was made and produced in a home kitchen that is not inspected by the health department or a local government agency. Let them know that it is a product specifically made at home and it's not being inspected, so they can make a judgment as to whether or not they want to buy the item, okay? It's kind of like just something to cover yourself too as well. All right, so if you're looking to create a cottage food business in the state of Alabama, that is the gist of what you got going on as far as what you can sell, where you can sell them. Check the information down below this video to answer that question. Does Alabama have a cottage food laws? Yes, they do, and you can definitely sell food from home. One of the states that have one of the best, because I can tell you, you can sell as much as you want. Okay, we also covered which foods are subject to Alabama cottage food law, so keep all of that in mind as well. If you have any questions about this, or if you're new to the channel, definitely hit subscribe. We've got a bunch of videos that are coming up for all kinds of states, how to market and produce and promote your cottage food business as well, and we'll have that down below. Thank you for watching Cottage Foods Laws, the brand new YouTube channel for the homemade food entrepreneur. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you're asking yourself what foods can and cannot be sold as cottage foods, what foods fall under the cottage food law, and how much is it to get a cottage food license. We cover all of these topics and much, much more here on Cottage Foods Laws.